Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. I was getting ready to start on a mower here today, but I was thinking about it and thought maybe it would be a good video to show you guys working on these newer model Briggs & Stratton plastic carburetors. And these are found on almost all of your newer stuff. You know, your newer mowers like your Bolins, your Craftsman, really anything now with the newer model Briggs & Stratton. I think this one is the 500E series, and yeah, so figured I'd show you guys a simple video on how to get these carburetors cleaned up and get your mower going again. So let's dive into it. Alright, just gonna put my magnetic tray here on the side and get started. For this video, I'm gonna take off this top cover just to kind of give you guys a little bit better view as to what's going on, but you don't necessarily have to take this top cover off to get your carburetor out. And I'm also probably going to remove the tank so I can empty out the old gas in here and put some fresh in. So to start, you just have 3 5/16 on the pull ropes cover, and pop those off. Take your cover off, and that's going to allow you better access to kind of see your linkages on the carburetor. Now keep in mind, this mower was actually taken out of the dump this last week, and it did start up on starting fluid, so I know the motor's good, and that it was going to be a fuel delivery issue, so I figured it would be a good video to make, showing you guys how to take this off and getting one cleaned up. So you should have 2 5/16 on these, and then 2 of the 9/32, and the 9/32 are gonna be these 2 right here, and then you got 2 5/16 which actually go through and they mount to the metal tab on that back plate. So we'll go ahead and take these 2 off. So that's basically everything you're going to need to get this loose. So on these as well, there's just 2 little tabs that hold the fuel tank in there. But what you want to do now is go ahead and disconnect your fuel line. So just get the clamp loose. And sometimes these fuel lines are on there pretty hard. I might just go ahead and you got to take this breather hose off the back, and then you've got your cover plate off. Now I got a little bit better access to that fuel line. These ones are really short on these models, so it's a bit harder to get to. They've been sitting any amount of time, they get pretty stiff. And get you something to put it in when that gas starts dripping out. I think what I'm gonna do for now is just take the fuel tank off. Should just slide right up, and then you can set it up on its edge so the fuel's not leaking out, and I'll clean that separately. But now you've got full access to your carburetor. You're just gonna kind of want to wiggle it, break that seal, and you can see on this one the O-ring came out, but you're gonna want to pull it away, twist, and get your linkage. And this O-ring actually needs to go back on the inside lip of the backside where it mounts up to the motor, and then you have this white ring that snaps in, and that's what keeps your O-ring in place. So now that we got this off, I'll show you guys how to disassemble this, and we'll get it cleaned up. All right, I've got you guys here in the shop now so that I can get out of the wind a little bit and show you all what's going on. So on the bottom side here, you just have 2 5/16 on the bottom of the bowl. You're gonna wanna just take those loose. Once you get that, on either side there's this little area which is kind of a pry point. I should have got a wider tip screwdriver, but let's see if we can't get this separated. Let me get a wider tip screwdriver. There we go. All right. You can see it's starting to open up, and then there's going to be an O-ring on the inside that seals it all together. And this one, probably won't be able to see it on camera, but I can see that there is some water at the bottom of this, and the gas is pretty bad in here. It smells a bit of turpentine. It's pretty yellow. So there is your bowl, and then we'll go ahead and take the float and the needle out. This one, on this little hinge pin, it actually just snaps in, so you can kind of just pry up a little bit. That loosens it up free, and your needle right there. Set all this to the side because we're gonna just kind of spray it down with some carb cleaner. I'm gonna be careful on the tip of the needle, because if you spray it with carb cleaner, sometimes it can swell and it won't necessarily seat properly. And then this is actually your jet. It's a big unit. I'm gonna pull it out and I'll show you all. But this is where it's pulling the gas in right here, and it's just a little tip, and they get clogged up real easy. So what I like to do is just take a screwdriver and just barely get it underneath of there onto this black edge, and then kind of just rock it back and forth a little. All right, I got it loose. There's a seal around the top of it, and then it comes out. And yeah, this one's totally blocked up on this part right here, and it definitely needs a cleaning. So you can actually separate these farther as well. You can kind of wiggle these free. This one's on there pretty good, but it actually comes apart even farther, and there is some more holes that you can clean on the this pickup tube area, but I can't even see through this portion right here. This is totally blocked, and I can see some gunk down in there. So you're gonna want to clean all of this, and then you're gonna want to clean down in here where your needle seats. This is your gas inlet from the gas tank. You want to clean that. Clean all in this area, up in these ports where your jet sits, and then you also want to spray a little down here where that silver piece is. That's your Welch plug. And then once you've gotten all that cleaned out, you'll want to come around here to the front, and if you all can see, there is a port right here, and this port right here is actually for your primer bulb if you have one on there. So make sure those are cleaned out, you know, clean all around on the inside here, and get that all freshened up. And once you've kind of blown it out with some carb cleaner or brake cleaner, then I would take some compressed air and try to go back over everything else and get it blown out as clean as you can. So I'm gonna go ahead and start spraying this down with some carb spray, and I'll show you guys where I'm spraying in here, and then we'll get everything cleaned up real nice, put it back together, and get this fired up. So I'm actually just gonna start up here. I'm gonna get down here by that Welsh plug. Get in all these ports. Just clean out the whole area down here, and then down into my needle. I'll go ahead and just spray out the whole inside here. And I'm gonna hit all this with compressed air as well. This thing is really gummy on the inside. Got that. There we go. Yeah, that thing had a huge blockage in it. And that should be good. I'll just clean up the needle by hand. And I'll just run a little cleaner down on the bottom of the bowl here. And then I'm gonna get everything here blown off with compressed air, looking good. I'm gonna double check all the orifices, and then we'll get this thing put back together. All right, well, I've got everything cleaned up here, and we should be ready to go to reassemble. I'll just go ahead and take that jet. Let's see, that'll just go in. It only fits in one way, so just get that in there and get that seated. Then take your needle and go ahead and put that back on the float. And then slide your pin back through. And then you can just go ahead and drop it all down in as one assembly. And then just snap that back into place. And you'll feel it click, and then you can, you know, just double check and make sure it's all the way in there. And that's all back together. And then on these, the bowl actually goes back on one way. You can see, let me see if I can get y'all a little bit better view with this light. It just has a groove cut out, and that groove cut out is actually for the pickup right here. So you just want to find where that is and where this is going to be. And oops, sorry, I had that the wrong way. You're going to want to get that lined up, and then go ahead and Get your screw holes lined up best that you can, and then just push it back down together, and that O-ring will seal it. And then just go ahead and put your 5/16 back in. And I'm gonna go ahead and do these with a ratchet. You don't want to use the impact putting this back together, because you could strip out the threads on this with it being plastic. So get these tightened up, and then we'll put it back on the machine. All right, well, I just got done draining out the gas in that tank, and it looks like orange Gatorade that came out of there. I mean, it smells like gas, but it's definitely old. So we're just gonna start back with the reassembly process. I did mount the tank back up, but I haven't put any fuel in it. I'll wait until I get everything buttoned up, and then I'll put some fuel in it in the top cover, and we'll get it fired up. So it just has these little grooves cut out in it, and this white little tip actually slides through this portion right here. But just make sure your ring and your O-ring are back in there. We'll go ahead and put our throttle linkage back on, and then go ahead and push your carburetor back on. It's nice and tight there. And go ahead and put your fuel line back on. All right, get that clamp. All right, got that. So now make sure that your crankcase vent tube goes on the back, and get your plate line back up. And I am going to be doing everything by hand, putting it back together, because I don't want to strip out these screws. So we've got the smaller one that goes right here. I'm just gonna kind of snug it a little. Other one here. Let's see if I can get these other two just started. Just trying to show you guys you can do this with some really basic tools here. Snugged up. All right, and I'm just gonna, well, I don't even think I'm gonna put that air filter on for this start, but make sure you got a clean air filter. So I am gonna go ahead and get some fresh gas to put in here, and I'll get the top cover put on it, and let's see if this thing will fire up. Give it a few primes. See if it'll go. Might not have got enough gas in the fuel bowl yet. horsepower sounds good. Let's see if it'll start right back up now. Guys off the camera mount. So keep in mind, I don't have the air filter in there, and I do know that these newer carburetors are a bit sensitive to having the air filter in there to run correctly. Otherwise it actually kind of restricts and helps draw the fuel up. And this mower was just taken out the junkyard, so plug's probably pretty dirty on it and needs some other things, but wanted to see if we could at least get the fuel delivery fixed, and we did. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. So got this at least up and running, and now I can get everything kind of fine-tuned and get this mower back in shape to cut somebody's yard. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't know how many kind of how-tos I'm gonna do. I kind of just enjoy showing you guys maybe the troubleshooting along the way, or things that I do while I'm fixing mowers or other equipment. But you know, just let me know. I appreciate you all checking it out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right.